Good morning. Welcome yet again to Ministry Monday. You can't be what you're not, and you can't measure your one talent against someone else's 5 talents. Life, I wish it were always consistent and fair, but it simply isn't. Life is not always fair, and we all have not been dealt, excuse the expression, the same hand in life. The person who has 5 talents and aggressively works and turns those 5 into 10 in the parable of Jesus was rewarded with the affirmation of the master who had given him those talents. The same for the one who had been given slightly less, but he multiplied. And then there came the 1 talent man who had taken what he had been given and carefully buried it, knowing the nature and the temperament of the one who had given him the 1 talent. Unfortunately, that was a bad choice. It was a bad decision. And the wisdom of Jesus was that you should have taken what you were given and put it in the hands of an exchanger, an ancient equivalent of a stockbroker, to let him invest it on your behalf and turn it into something more than what it was. At least you could have done that particular thing. But here's the point that I want to get to with you. If the 1 talent man had done equally as well with his investment as the fellow who started with 5 talents, he still would have been woefully behind in the talent race. He would only have had 2 talents. Now, it's an unfortunate thing that in our cultural setting, we contrast, we measure, the fellow who's a bivocational pastor has the same measuring stick applied to his work as the person who is a full-time pastor and may have 2 or 3 staff members as part of the church. Now that's an unfortunate thing. It shouldn't be that way. And we need to stop doing this to ourselves. Through the years that I worked with church planters, I discovered that many of them were 1 and 2 talent people doing the absolute best that they could with what God had given them to work with. Many of them grew strong, solid churches. They established something that perhaps others could not have established. They did it with diligence. Some of them had come to me and perhaps to others as exchangers in their life to help them invest what talent God had given them. But at the same time, that individual is unlikely. Now, some of you aren't going to agree with this at all, but that person is highly unlikely, regardless of how much training they're given. They're highly unlikely to ever pastor 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people. Yet, that's what we seem to always be pushing people toward. And what we end up with is people who are insecure, frustrated, and diminished, in spite of the fact that they're doing the absolute best they can with what they have to work with. And they're being faithful to God. And Jesus will say to them, well done. We as their peers tend to look perhaps at their work as less significant. Let's stop. Let's be on each other's team. And for the person who has 1 talent and is doing their best with that 1 talent, bravo, go for it. Build a church, win the loss, do something significant for God. Have a great week.